Thank God for the altars. When I began to study about the altars, there were several different kinds of altars mentioned in the Bible. I suppose the one that we think of mostly is the one of the altar that stood outside of the tabernacle, or outside of the where they offered burnt offerings unto the Lord. And it was very important because it pointed to the coming when Christ himself would be offered as a sacrifice. I looked in the Greek or the Hebrew meaning, and the word mizbeah, which means a place of slaughter or a place of sacrifice. A place of sacrifice. Keep that in mind. I remember reading in the scriptures several places where Abraham and Isaac and Jacob offered sacrifices, how they worshiped the Lord at the altar. Moses worshipped at the altar. Down through the pages of the Old Testament, people worshipped at the altar, whether it was by sacrificial offerings or whatever it may be. They used the altar. I thank God today for the altar, because I remember several years ago that I came to an altar. An altar is a place of different uses, and I want to just touch on some today. First of all, the altar is a place of sacrifice. It's a place of giving or surrender. It's a place where that we can offer. And the Bible said in the book of Romans chapter 12 and verse 1 that we are to offer ourselves as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is our reasonable service. Now, if you go back in the Old Testament, you'll find that God demanded an offering or sacrifice, and he told them exactly what to do. They were to take a lamb without spot or blemish. That could not be a sick animal. It could not be one with a broken leg or a whatever. It had to be perfect, and they were to put it up for certain days, and then when the time came for the offering or the sacrifice, they were to take this lamb and offer it as a sacrifice unto God. This was God's way of accepting that. So we need to understand that when we come to an altar of sacrifice, sacrificing ourselves, we need to be careful how we come. Sometimes I look at us and we come to the altars nonchalant. We come to the altars because somebody else does. We come to the altar because it looks like a religious thing to do. But I believe with all of my heart, we need to be very careful. We need to be very reverently with how we come to the altar of God.